Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Tyler, and today we are going to be continuing What If Naruto Had Samehada with its second installment. Now, I actually left the ending out in the open for you guys, and I actually allowed you guys to vote what was going to be the conclusion of part 1. Will Sakura's words be able to calm Naruto down, or will Naruto completely ignore them and just kill her and go on a complete rampage? We'll find out now. Now guys, you guys did indeed vote for Naruto to go on a complete rampage, and essentially Sakura's words would not work here. No matter how hard she tries, it wouldn't work, and she would then try to use physical force. However, Naruto would just instantly neg her in terms of power due to Naruto's rage. Naruto is then consumed by Kurama's chakra, and he would then be in the four-tailed cloak, and he would then absorb Samehada's chakra, which would make his power even more vicious and even more of a threat. Sakura would try and attempt to use force, and this would not work as Naruto just completely slaps her away for miles. Sakura would then fall to the ground, and if she doesn't die from the fall, she would definitely die from Naruto's follow-up attack, which is a chakra gun volley that would vaporize her. Naruto would kill Sakura, but he didn't have any intent to do that, but Kurama and Samehada just completely consumed him due to their power, and Naruto's chakra is now overflowing. Naruto wouldn't be able to control himself, and due to him having a lack of mental state at this point, Naruto would just be going completely berserk, destroying the forest around them and destroying the general area and making his way down to the leaf unironically. Even from the leaf's point of view, eventually when Naruto gets closer and closer, they could hear the loud ruckus that Naruto is causing, and they're curious to hear about the commotion. And this would then lead into Naruto transforming with more of Kurama's chakra and going into that weird state that he did against Pain. At this point, Samehada isn't going to really try and snap Naruto out of it due to him just loving all this chakra that Naruto's consumed in and that Samehada can essentially have. And really, Samehada is loving the chakra, so he's not going to try and stop Naruto and snap him out of it. We have to understand that Samehada's intent is to, again, get chakra and the best kind of chakra, so he doesn't really care about Naruto and is not going to really snap him out of it just for him to, stop causing a ruckus. No, Samehada right now is honestly getting all the chakra he wants and needs, so he's perfectly fine with this. At that point, we would then see Naruto and the inside of Naruto, where Naruto is currently with Kurama, and he's contemplating on releasing the tag because, honestly, all this power that he could release, he could easily, defeat Sasuke. However, at that point, Minato would then intercept, and Minato would then talk to Naruto, similar to how he did during the Pain invasion. But obviously here, it's a lot earlier. Here, Minato would be talking about how going down this path won't get him anywhere, and honestly, the Akatsuki would just, see him as a bigger target, and Naruto needs to look out for the Akatsuki, especially about this masked man, which Naruto wouldn't have any knowledge of at the moment, but he will in dear time. At that point, Minato would then reveal the truth to Naruto, which Naruto would just punch him in the stomach similar to how he did in canon, and Naruto's a lot more of an emotional wreck here, and just screaming at Minato as to why he lied to him, and why he just did that to everyone in the village, and essentially made Naruto an outcast. Not to mention, Minato pulled this stunt at a very bad moment in Naruto's life, because again, Naruto is on the verge of rampaging and causing chaos around the entire world with Kurama, and he wants to try and bring back Sasuke, but Sasuke just killed 2 of his comrades, so now Naruto is having contemplating thoughts, which Kurama did take advantage of. Naruto honestly just doesn't know what to do and lays it out towards Minato after he punches him in the stomach and just screams at him relentlessly. But Minato would try and calm him down and ask his son as to what he believes is right. And Naruto would say, well, at first he wanted to bring back Sasuke, but now he just doesn't know. Minato would try and chip in for his son for the first time of his life, not his fault, but still it is the first time in his life he's ever talking to his son and actually trying to help him out with the situation. So Minato would then say to try and look at both aspects and think of it in long term and what is overall the better decision. As Kurama is rampaging, Naruto is contemplating, and he would eventually choose the right side rather than the dark side. Instead of just going out to try and kill Sasuke and release Kurama, he's going to think of it in a positive light and actually try and save his friend, which was what he was going to originally do, and he doesn't want to change that goal. Besides, he's also realized that he killed his friend and the girl that he used to love, aka Sakura. And now he needs to make it his mission to try and bring back Sasuke, because that was the one thing Sakura wanted, and now she'll never be able to experience it, but at least Naruto can do it, so her death isn't in vain. And the one thing that she asks for, Naruto is going to be accomplishing no matter what. He believes that in his heart. And with that being said, Naruto and Minato's talk would then, be over, and Naruto would snap back into reality and snap out of that Kurama state. Also, Samehada would be on the ground laying there. Naruto, after doing all this rampaging, and eventually Leaf Ninja would even come out with Kakashi coming out because he's done being in the hospital, and he would actually question Naruto as to what had happened. Naruto wouldn't really be able to explain anything, as he would then collapse to the ground due to exhaustion, but he would wake up in the hospital. Eventually he wakes up and he and Kakashi would have a conversation about what had happened, and Kakashi is shocked to hear this, and when Tsunade even comes in to try and check in on Naruto and Naruto explains to her what had happened, she is devastated to hear what happened to her pupil. At this point, Tsunade is just worried about Naruto and this entire thing about chasing Sasuke in itself, and maybe Sasuke would have to be put to an end to actually stop Naruto from going on another rampage like this. With that being said, Tsunade would try and essentially ban Naruto from leaving the village, and she would also get a bunch of guards to make sure Naruto never leaves. This would then lead into Kakashi actually trying to help out and actually watch Naruto. And you guys are probably wondering, well, why Kakashi being there makes a difference? Well, after the Sasuke rescue mission, we do know what had happened in canon, and that was Kakashi and Naruto training and discovering Naruto's chakra nature, which would be wind. And Naruto would still go under the training of the Rasen Shuriken, and he would actually also train with Samehada. He would just make a couple of shadow clones and actually have them train with Samehada while he trains for the Rasen Shuriken. Now, here, Hidan and Kakuzu still encounter Team 10, with Asuma dying and Shikamaru then going out in the night to try and stop Hidan and Kakuzu, and this time Kakashi would be accompanying them like in canon, but this time Naruto would have no real way to try and come in to try and help, because Naruto would be guarded by a bunch of Anbu and Jonin requested by Tsunade, which means he would have no real way to leave the village, and he would have no real reason to because he doesn't know what's going on. And this would then lead into Naruto still training and eventually obtaining the Rasen Shuriken. Now, as for Hidan and Kakuzu versus Team 10 and Kakashi, the battle is pretty much similar to in canon up until when Kakuzu shoots that massive blast that Naruto and Yamato save them with, the water and air thing. But the problem here is that Yamato is dead and Naruto isn't even going there. So this would lead into Kakashi using his Mangekyo Sharingan to essentially seal the attack from Kakuzu to save everyone. Now, here, Kakashi with his MS out is trying to snipe Kakuzu and could instantly kill him, but the problem is that he has multiple hearts, so he's going to have to aim Kamui multiple times, and eventually Kakuzu would outlast Kakashi. And in the meantime, Shikamaru is dealing with Hidan, and this would lead into Choji actually making a big sacrifice. He would use his expansion jutsu and tells Ino to carry Kakashi away and try to get to cover and try and get some assistance. This would then lead into Choji then rushing at Kakuzu with full power and go into his butterfly state, which would give Ino and Kakashi enough time to escape, and even for Choji to send Kakuzu flying because this Kakuzu was weakened, so Choji could just off guard him and send him flying. And this would then lead into Choji using the human boulder in the opposite direction of Kakuzu to escape. So Team 10 would make it out alive, but they would barely be alive, and they would return to the Leaf very fatigued and damaged. Now, when Kakashi and Team 10 return to the Leaf and Naruto gets the news as to what had happened, he's upset at the fact that he couldn't try and chip in with his new jutsu, but that's whatever. And as for Kakuzu, I don't think he would go out by himself to try and take on the Leaf, because he literally almost lost to only like 4 members of them. Well, technically 3, because Shikamaru was fighting Hidan, who took out his teammate. So, at this point, Kakuzu was weakened and would just decide to try and get some new hearts and try and recover. And this would then lead into him reporting this to Pain, and Pain is disappointed, but Pain does understand. And this would then lead into Pain trying thinking of his own invasion he wants to pull, and maybe Kakuzu could come along. Kakuzu would be down for this, as Kakuzu then tries to get his hearts. So the Akatsuki would be prepping another attack, and as this is all going down, Sasuke would still have his whole Team Heavy thing go down, and Sasuke versus Itachi and all that stuff leading up to it would play out as per normal. And when Naruto sees the Masked Man for the first time when they're trying to search for Sasuke, Naruto would recognize as to who this is due to Minato telling him about it, and he would then tell this to Kakashi, and Kakashi would realize that this guy also has a Sharingan. So the pieces to Toby being Obito are slowly being put together, but at first, in its first installment, it's not really working for the plan, but eventually this would lead into them, figuring it out, but we'll get into that later on. But this is just the start of them trying to figure out who Toby is. And really, Minato establishing who he is earlier without us really seeing him is kind of a mystery in itself, and it kind of helps due to it adding much more mystery to Toby, but we'll get into that later. And eventually this would lead into Jiraiya going out to the Rain Village and Jiraiya getting bopped, and Pain, Konan, and Kakuzu would decide to go out and actually invade Konoha, and maybe Kisame could join. Now here, Kisame would like to go out, but Pain and Toby are kind of mixed about it, because Pain would like another comrade to go out, but he doesn't really know if they can afford another man, because what if they lose? Kisame could just stay back and it would just save us an extra man, or Kisame could try and get his sword back and actually prove useful in the Battle of Konoha. And this would then lead into Kisame saying that if he can get his hands on the Nine Tails, he can easily kill him or give him to Pain, and he can take his sword back, which would be fine, and this would then lead into Kisame joining along. So this Konoha Crush arc, or this Pain Assault arc, is going to be way bigger than in canon, and Naruto would still be training on Mount Myoboku, and eventually Pain would invade Konoha. And this is where I'm going to be leaving the story off for now. So what did you guys think of this part? Did you guys like it? Did you guys hate it? Let me know down below. Subscribe, hit the notification bell if you are new. That way you are notified and updated every time I upload. Like the video if you like it. Share it with your friends. Share it with your grandma. Share it with everyone, bro. And with that being said, let's get to 50K by the end of the year. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and join the Discord. Thanks for watching the video. Until next time.